Hear of a show called Rent? One of the characters is based on him. Yeah, he knew Jonathan Larson.
Roar! Sabimaru!
Wally, you should make Renji rehab shirts and sell them at conventions, but that's just me.
I stole it. Ryusei Yamamoto.
I'm Renji Abarai from the 13 Court Guard Squad's here to kick your...
You're watching convention coverage.
I'm reenacting the Renji eating scene from the rehab season 2.
Wow. That looks...
I'm just glad to see you're still sticking to your health regimen.
Yeah.
After
we were just talking about that.
I'm not going to let hypertension stop me, don't it? Well, con weekends are excluded from my...
Well,
as of Monday, I'll be back to salads and dry chicken.
I don't know what's in your cabinets these days, but I do know every time I ever see Quisp, I think of you right away.
What's Quisp?
Right away.
This is the second time Quisp has come up at a panel. Bob Joels brought that up at the Transformers panel about Quisp.
I don't even know what that is.
He said, wow, you have Quisp. I'm like, yeah, I got a box. You want one? He says, how old is this? No, they still make it. It's brand new. Quisp is this delicious breakfast cereal that they don't sell in California because it's way too sugary. But I grew up on it as a kid, which is why I'm hyperactive. But it's delicious. They had a Quisp.
And you grew up as an adult.
In his system that he, from his childhood, from the Quisp. That's how much sugar there is.
That's why you'll see a smile on my face all weekend long, because I'm doing a convention with Wally and I get to hang out with him because I love the guy, but my wife kind of goes, don't you have something better to do? It's like, but okay.
Yeah, I'm the bad friend. I'm the bad influence.
Yeah, there's
Wally, come over. We'll have some Quisp and watch some old cartoons.
something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Pretend like it's a Saturday morning in the 80s.
Yeah.
No, look,
60s.
I will say one of the things that I miss the most is Wally used to. There was essentially a silent movie theater in Los Angeles, and Wally would rent it out like once every couple of months. And I tell you, it was one of my favorite things about living in LA. My family's from New York. I grew up in San Jose. I hate Los Angeles. I am predisposed to hate Los Angeles. But then I met people like Wally who showed me some of the fun things, like the silent movie theater with literally like the last living piano player.
Right.
You know, guy who Bob Mitchell used to play piano for the silent movies when they were the new movies. And it was just the most incredible thing. And just, I mean, this gives me the opportunity to say, I miss you.
I miss you too. I miss those days as well, because Neil's so improvisationally brilliant that, and of course all the people that would come to these movie parties were all comics and voice actors and comedians and all these different people. And that we would talk back to the screen and just say the most random, funny stuff. And we developed a pilot based on that whole concept of a bunch of guys sitting watching a movie and talking to the screen and saying. And Neil came up with some really great. What do you think? There was one thing I can't remember, but it was really funny that I can't think of the instance.
That's like Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah.
3000.
It really kind of was. It was a mix between Mystery Science Theater and Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. So much fun.
I was about to talk about how awesome you are and how nice it is to see you.
I don't have any fun
Save the best for
stories
last.
to share about Neil, except that we always give each other about baseball.
Why, Michelle? Tell this Bay Area crowd, this Northern California crowd.
Because you're a Giants fan.
And you are?
And I'm a Dodger fan.
Wait. You missed the other part. You are what?
A Dodger fan.
I'm sorry, Michelle. I missed that. You're a what?
I'm a Cubs fan.
Whoa.
All right, see?
Since all of our players just went to the Cubs, now I'm a Cubs fan.
That's all right. That's all right. She's just bitter that they've only come up with one World Series victory, and it was in a shortened season.
It should have been two, except for the Astros cheated. Shoulda.
Me. Those meanies from Houston, me.
I'm not whining. I'm just stating a fact.
I love Dodger fans. I love Dodger fans when they whine.
Oh my God. Can we please get on with the Bleach Panel, Joe? Pretty please.
I'm actually kind of enjoying the banter at the moment myself.
But what is the first show we worked on? Wasn't it Digimon? The first show that the three of us were on together, I think, was Digimon.
Probably, yeah.
Which Digimon?
Oh, there you go.
Which one did you start with?
I don't even remember. like the main character I played was Digimon season 4 as Zoe, but I was in like I think a couple seasons before that.
Yeah, because I thought I used to see you at the Saban building.
At Saban, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember, honestly. I don't know.
Well, thank you definitely for being here. Thank you for coming back to our show. We definitely love having you all here. So thank you so much. First
I
and
came for
foremost.
the corn dogs.
Obviously.
Next time, bring enough for everybody.
Hey, I bought one for Nicholas. Nicholas, where are you?
Oh,
He's eating his corn dog in the back.
he's eating his corn dog.
Wally, I'll tell
Well-
you, as long as you're in Roseville, if you can, you should go to the Squeeze Burger and get yourself a squeeze with cheese.
Squeeze in or squeeze burger?
I think now it's Squeeze Burger. I
It's
think
Squeeze
Squeeze
Burger?
In was when it was really small.
Yes, and they got sued by the lady in the wheelchair for lack of handicapped access.
But now it's bigger and more people can get in
Oh,
and
there
get
you
a
go.
squeeze.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They still have the gimmick of the cheese skirt on the burger.
It's not a gimmick. It's heaven sent.
the crunchy cheese skirt.
Well, I feel like I'm missing
Y'all
out.
know this Squeeze Burger, right? Here in Roseville?
I'm missing out on the squeeze.
Did they
burger.
deliver?
I think
Uber.
they
They
do,
could,
but
you
it's
could
not
probably
as good.
DoorDash or DoorDash or.
But it's
or-
not as good. You got to get it hot.
Gotta get it
just
hot right
straight
right
off the grill. I
Yeah.
swear.
Yeah.
I had my Squeeze Burger. I'm doing great.
Yeah, did you have your squeeze burger last night? Yeah.
It's Passover, so I had it without a bun.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I still played by the rules.
What? You can't eat a bun with
The
your
buns
burger?
can't be leavened.
Can't be leavened.
Unleavened bread.
I do play Passover by the California rules, which is a tortilla is flatter than a matzah, so why can't I eat that?
Gotcha.
So burritos are still okay by me. So I'm just saying.
No. What have you all been up to lately? Anything you can talk about? I know there's a lot of
Bleach.
NBA stuff. More Bleach.
While working on Bleach, that was in your blood war.
Yeah.
Yeah. So excited for the return. Oh my God.
The art's pretty impressive, I got to tell you.
Oh my God, it looks amazing.
It really does.
Yeah, like that first episode, I was like, oh, yes, back and modern and
So how was it for you two guys stepping into roles you hadn't voiced in a few years? Did it take you any time at all to get back into it?
nah, not for me.
Like riding a bike.
Yeah, exactly.
If it was a character that we had only done on one episode or something, that would be tough.
Those are always more
because we had
difficult.
already done so much of it
Yeah.
in the past that it's like, I remember this. Yeah, it's great.
So was there anything that you found fun about walking in those old shoes again?
I mean, honestly, Rukia has really not come back full force.
Yet.
So I'm looking forward to when that happens. Then you can ask me that question.
Okay.
Yeah, Renji's still in rehab from his first battle, which went horribly wrong. So I'm waiting for him to have some more Roar Zabimaru moments, or should I say, Roar Zabimaru! That whole thing.
I think, Wally, you should make Renji rehab shirts and sell them at conventions, but that's just me.
Oh my God.
With a band
By the
stuff.
way, every time Wally does that at his table, it freaks me out. Like, I literally, with
Yeah.
my pen.
I owe her money for all the pictures I've ruined because she's signing. Roar Zabimaru! What was that? So, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Oh.
I'll get you back.
So, do you mind sharing, for every one of you, your fondest memory with the late Mr. Michael Lindsay? And also, do you mind sharing your favorite works with the Bleach cast outside of Bleach?
The cast off the top of our
Yeah.
heads.
I mean, Michael, I remember when Michael still lived in LA before he moved and all of that stuff. Just seeing him in the lobby at Studiopolis, he was always so funny. He was a comedian, wasn't he? A stand-up?
Yeah.
So there would always be the quippy, like these two, back and forth. So those are always fond memories. I mean, when we lost him, it was like, oh my God, it was a big blow. And then I remember when we first did the first season. Did you do the video shoot at Studiopolis where we like spray painted the wall.
Yes, that was. I still have those pictures.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my God, I would love to see those.
I
that
had a
was
section
so
of
much
the wall
fun.
where I spray painted Renji on because they cut out the piece of the wall when they took the set down, and I kept it, but I sent it to a friend of mine in Missouri.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I still have those photos. Yeah.
That was like so much fun. We did like a DVD extra.
One of the movies, I think.
I think was it the movie?
Yeah,
it might have been.
Yeah.
But
Were you there
all,
when they screened it at the theater?
Yeah.
Yep. That was cool.
So yeah, so that would be a extra fun thing that I loved.
My two things leap to mind when I think about Michael, besides just missing him. He was. You ever hear of a show called Rent? One of the characters is based on him.
What?
Yeah, he knew Jonathan Larson.
Oh, I didn't know.
And was actually working on it, and then they selected somebody else to be in the off-Broadway cast, and it was something that always kind of rubbed Michael a little bit raw. But every time I see or hear Rent, I think of him. And then there was this one day that we both got callbacks to Paramount for a movie called The Spiderwick Chronicles. And I was at San Diego Comic-Con, and the callback was on a Friday. And literally for as far as I'm concerned, one of the worst things that you can have as a voice actor is a callback. Because an audition you can miss because there are a lot of people who are up for it, and a job you won't miss because that's what we're here for. But a callback is like, I'm in San Diego, I'm 2 hours away. I gotta go. So it was Comic-Con weekend, so literally it took 3.5 hours to drive back to LA, and then 4 hours to drive back to San Diego, and I didn't get it, and I saw Michael there, and neither one of us got it, but we both saw the movie afterward and spoke about it and basically said, does it sound like they stole some of the stuff you did at the callback? It was like, it kind of felt like that, yeah. So, not that I care about that, but it was just one more thing that Michael is stuck in my head from driving up to Paramount and going, wait, where did they film Star Trek 4? Oh, Michael, hey man! But he was a good egg. He was a good egg, and as Michelle said, he was a funny, funny man. Are you at your
Our
panel?
agent is calling me.
Yes.
For a callback.
Look.
No, I saw it. That's why I said,
Should
are
I
you at
answer
your
it?
panel? Yeah. Oh, he's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
He's going to drive from Sacramento all the way to LA for a callback. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, Michelle. Thank you.
But thank you for bringing up our friends. Appreciate it.
Also, shout out to Wally. He just took a picture of me yesterday with his flip phone and just shouted me out. And on Instagram, I was on a story.
Wait.
Mr. Technology right here, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen.
How did the
Mr.
Luddite?
Off the grid.
How did
Oh
the
my
Luddite
God,
get
he's got a
involved
flip
in-
phone.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I thought it was like clickbait. I thought he was joking around, but he's actually lived up to his word.
There you go.
So how'd you manage to get it up
I
on
think
Instagram?
Rukia had a flip phone in it's memories of nobody,
Right.
right?
And the
Ichigo, they're here.
I love how she flipped it like it was a communicator.
That's
is.
kind of why I still kept it. Scotty, photo beam up, Kirk up. I love this thing. It's bulletproof. You could seriously throw this across the room, hit the back wall with it, and I can still call Tahiti tomorrow. Yeah.
Like that is
No, it's bulletproof.
solid.
Yeah. It's what? It's a Kyocera, actually.
I kind of want one.
But it's a lot. Flip phones for the.
Just for
I
fun.
just read an article last week, and I almost had my
Making a
social media
comeback.
person post it because it's like a neener to everybody. But for the millennial, they're not called millennials anymore. The 20-somethings now, they're going back to these. They want the razors
They want
back.
it-
They want the
yeah.
flip.
Yeah.
They want to just get rid of all of the clutter of the little diggy things that you guys have.
The Gen Zs.
Yeah, and this is bulletproof. I just needed to make a call, to send an occasional text, take an occasional picture holding an action figure of Renji, I don't need it to land a spaceship or walk my dog or clean my house or do my dishes. I just need a phone. That's all I need.
And,
So,
and just in case you have to defend yourself.
Wally's a simple
Exactly.
kind of guy.
Kill somebody with it.
this is heavy.
He's a simple
This
kind
is-
of guy.
yeah,
It really is.
It's like 5
You
pounds.
could freaking use this as like a defense weapon in the alley. Like if someone attacked you, you'd just be like, poof.
With the
Or
right.
you know what you do is you pull it out and just watch as they fall over laughing.
Or
Hold on, I'm
or
going
you
to
go
call
like
police.
this and you flick them in the face.
With the right. With the
like
right.
that.
It's like nunchucks.
With the right throwing arm, this thing is a dangerous projectile. Don't make me prove it.
What was your favorite moment for your characters that you recorded? And it can be from the original Bleach series or the 1,000 Year Blood War, and not the eating scene.
What
You
scene?
just took away my answer.
Sorry.
I loved the eating scene. I loved the eating scene.
Oh, the eating
But I think I already
scene.
talked about that before Michelle and Neil got here, because we really did eat. Like I said, it's sometimes the voice actors can train themselves to make it sound like their mouth is full, but they said, I think it was Ryan who was directing that day, said, no, take a bite of that Subway sandwich and we'll do it that way. I'm like, okay, cool. Just so you know, the windscreen's going to get all full of crumbs of, the nice white, what was that?
Bread
What kind of
crumbs.
bread? The bread comes, the multi-grain bread and tuna and all, they're going to be splattering it.
Oh, God.
He didn't seem to matter, but boy, we got a lot of fun takes. So
You had tuna fish in the studio?
Subway's
would
across
be,
the street
That
from
would
the-
be 3 hours later, too, probably.
Subway's right across the street from the studio. So
That would certainly be a. Who was in here?
It's tuna. It's
And
either a cat
why
or Wally.
don't they
Well, yeah,
bathe?
next time we'll know it's Wally. My favorite moment probably would be the opening, the very first episode of Bleach for Rukia, because in the beginning, like before I didn't watch ahead, so I didn't know what was going to happen. So I was like, oh, yes, finally, like I get to play a bad. I was super excited about it, and it was just cool, like the way she was jumping from building to building. We're really like getting to know her, and she was still a little bit mysterious. So that for me was probably still my favorite moment. But who knows? Maybe her finally coming into her Bankai will be my new favorite when that happens.
I'm also thinking the scene from the first episode where Rukia is trying to explain what the Soul Society is to Ichigo. And
With Chappie the rabbit.
Yeah, and then like you just see Ichigo like, yeah, I have a question. Why do
do
these drawings suck?
Yes. That whole episode is like my favorite.
My favorite moment was there was an actor that we have worked with by the name of Mike Reynolds. And a few years ago, some people got together and had a roast for Mike Reynolds, and I heard about this. And Mike basically, after everybody roasted him, he went up to the microphone and he said,
Would you people stop stealing my voice and let me work?
sorry for the, he's
kid.
playing his video. Good, you didn't hear that. Yay. So in case you don't recognize that voice,
I stole it from Ryusai Yamamoto.
so, yeah, because he was just so easy to do. I mean, he was just so inspirational. So,
That's
yeah,
cool.
that was kind of like when Richard told me that story. Richard Epcar told me that story. I was like, oh right, I stole from him. Right. So I think my second favorite was probably getting ready for 1,000 Year Blood War, and people were writing me notes on Twitter and TikTok and going, get ready for that word. Get ready. You're going to hate that word. Oh, I can't wait until I hear you pronounce that word.
What
And
word?
I went in and I saw it and I took a picture, and so it's on Instagram. And basically the caption on it was me seeing the word. And the word was
Kakajumaro Kushidai Sojin.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Well, when you get a word like that and you finally get it to
Yeah.
fall out of your face the right way, it sticks. It sticks.
You'll never forget it.
Oh, yeah, no, there's no way. Yeah, so.
No, I managed to say that. So there you go. That's 2 for 1.
Now his agent's calling with a callback. Good Lord. good to see everybody working today.
I'd like to know why Chris was calling me during the panel. It's interesting.
Do you know you've got a panel? Yes.
I'm here on stage.
I'm interrupting the panel to answer your call, Chris. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your answer.
You bet. Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for being here. You guys are a part of my childhood and everything, so thank you for that. But I wanted to
thank you for making us feel old.
No, I hear that, and I just want to ask, are you a good person? Because when I hear that, if they're a villain, then it's like, well, I don't know that I want to take responsibility.
I know. That's a good point. And
like Jeffrey Dahmer comes up, I want to thank you for my childhood.
Yeah,
It's like, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Dahmer. Okay, bye. Don't eat me.
Something like that.
But I wanted to know pretty much what's something that's your favorite personality trait from your from your character from Bleach that you kind of carry on with within yourself that you kind of didn't really have to act it out. It was just or just your favorite part of the character itself that you just loved about them.
Well, my favorite part of Yamamoto, I don't carry with me, but it's his abs. Anyone who didn't laugh has not seen a picture of this guy who looks like he's 800 years old, except from the shoulders to the waist. And it's like,
he's got the
Mark
body of Brad
Wahlberg,
Pitt.
Beware. Yeah.
You're not eating Wahlburgers.
No, not
characters.
yet.
Squeeze burgers.
Yeah,
Squeeze
squeeze-ins.
I didn't get these abs by eating squeeze burgers.
No, exactly. Nope.
I like Renji. I became when I got the part. I went out and had my body fully tattooed. So, would you like to see it? Okay.
Yes, please, Wally.
You got it tattooed in flesh color. It's amazing.
The closest I ever got to a tattoo was I painted this hat with Renji's eyebrow tattoos. I said, well, it might be cool to do it. Renji used to be when he first came out. He's kind of like a rebel guy. He was kind of the bad boy, and I thought that was really cool. And then halfway through one of the seasons, he became the comedy relief, stumbling over himself, slurping noodles. I'm like, what happened to the mean Renji? I kind of liked him. So I wish he'd get kind of back to that, but now when they're in rehab, it's all him and Ichigo just getting on each other's nerves, falling a long way in this thing and trying to get into it, just eating all these food, this great spread of food with the lady with the big lady. It was pretty. It's like, could we get back to some action here, please? This would be really great. Nothing's really so far going on. So I'm waiting for that. But apparently, from who I talked to who reads ahead in the manga, that some great battles are coming up, apparently. So,
Yeah.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
See,
no
but
spoilers.
I read that the guy who created it and wrote the manga is planning to do something different for the video version. So I don't know how much. Oh. Yeah, no, he's basically going, all you manga readers, you best watch the show. Because, when they do the same thing, they lose some viewership. Yeah. So I think he's going, nah, I've had years to think about it. I got something else
He's changing the rules in Japan because in Japan, as I understand it, the manga is the Bible for setting the cinematic universe. Unlike America, where the cinematic universe now sets the tone for the comics, which is exactly opposite over here. So that would be really interesting if he decided to kind of diverge from that traditional way of doing things, to my understanding anyway. So
yeah. For Rukia, I would say, in the first arc, I don't know what's going to be happening in Thousand Year Blood War because I haven't read any of the mangas. She, when I first started recording, I was having a lot of incidents where I was seeing ghosts and whatnot. So it was very kind of symbolic, I guess, for what she deals with, in her everyday work life. So I always thought that was really interesting, that I had that in common with her. It hasn't happened in a while, thank God.
I see dead people.
I was seeing dead people a lot.
Wait, was that before you started working on it or after you
It
started?
was beforehand and probably like, well, I used to live out in Malibu Lake in Agora Hills, and it's very much like Indian burial ground and Indian reservation out there. So I think that whole area was just like really supercharged. And I have a sixth sense. I've always had it since I was little. Saw ghosts now and then growing up, but during that time, it was like daily. I was seeing something, So yeah.
Do you think one of them helped you get the part?
Maybe.
I think maybe you had.
Perhaps.
Yeah. So did that make it easier to deal with the spiritual side of the character?
It was definitely a connection. Like it wasn't uncomfortable. It's not an uncomfortable place for me to be sitting in. Like it feels natural to me.
So the first time that you had a scene that leaned in that direction, did you kind of have a feeling of deja vu?
I was like, oh, here we are. Art imitating life.
That's kind of cool.
Well, thank you so much. I hope
Thank
you guys
you.
enjoy yourselves in the con.
Oh, thank you. Your cosplay is awesome.
What is a lesson or kernel of knowledge that you've learned from voicing early days of Bleach that you carry with you now?
Bring lots of liquid because there will be yelling involved. That's the main lesson. If you want to keep your voice for other stuff, lots of
and kitten juice.
Vocal lubricant. It's
kitten
very
juice.
important.
Yeah, it's this Chinese they do lozenges and like this. It's almost like a
the Hulk juice.
Jägermeister,
Oh yeah,
but
it's
without
it's Fred
alcohol.
juice. Yeah, it's like honey with camphor or something.
Like Namjum.
Namjum.
If you look up on the internet, if you look up Hulk juice, you will probably find a link to it.
It's funny. He calls it Hulk juice. I call it kitten juice.
Well, no, because it garnered that nickname because Fred Tatasciore was infamous for like chugging this stuff after doing the Hulk. And to continue doing the Hulk.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And if you look up, I'm sure if you look up Fred Tatasciore juice, you'll get the G-rated answer. Stop it, you. But it'll take you to the link on Amazon. I've never actually tried the stuff.
It's got a crazy name like Nincompoop
Yeah,
Joe or
no,
something.
it's like Ninjam.
Nincompoop.
Yeah, I'm not going to call it crazy because it's probably something normal in the language where it came from.
No, it does. It works.
Yeah, it works amazingly from what I've heard.
I have some of the lozenges in my.
But I hate to say this, but for me, especially in anime, it's walk in, read off. It used to be read off of the music stand. Now it's read off the monitor and leave. Not a whole lot of stuff really stuck, to be honest with you. People ask me like, what was a favorite line? It's like, I don't know. I don't have one. In all the years that I've been doing stuff, when you do a play, when you do a movie, you memorize the lines, it gets stuck in there somewhere. But when you just go in and you read it off of a sheet, it may not necessarily stick. And I've had two lines stick with me, and one of them wasn't, I don't even remember the game I was working on, but the line was, I strike from the shadows. And the only reason I remember it is because I looked at it and went, I strike from the shadows. I thought that's something Bullwinkle should say.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason it stuck. So I hate that, especially because, you're a Giants fan. I should have a better answer for you.
Do you play Bullwinkle?
I wish.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's pretty good.
No, that was such a heartbreaker. They were auditioning for the new series at DreamWorks, and I was a villain on one of their shows, and I didn't even get a call back.
Jerks.
For
me, for Rukia, I'm just trying to think. Like, I think, when we were first recording, like the first couple episodes, I don't know if you guys experienced this, but it was like we went through like 7 different directors, and they weren't sure exactly where they wanted the placement of her voice, and it was like back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So when we finally like settled on her vocal placement, I was like, I am never gonna forget this, because it was just like really pounded into my head. So
did you do different things in the first few
They wanted
episodes?
to hear different things. I mean, obviously what ended up airing was where they decided they wanted her. But yeah, it was like everybody, there were a few cooks in the soup, we call it, cooks in the kitchen, and everybody had a little bit of a different idea of what they wanted. So like melding all of that together sometimes takes a minute. You know, I know you guys have probably been in that situation before.
I love that situation.
Not.
Rolling my eyes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your honesty.
Sure, thank you.
When you were first getting into the business, or maybe even now, when you thought, you know, I want to be a voice actor, and you go to something, do you tend to put out your natural voice with a natural tone and stuff? This is me, and this is the voice that I want to be known for, or are you focused more on doing like character voices and stuff that you were giving an example of? Like, is it a mix, or if that is a fair enough question? Like when you're interested in voice acting. It depends on what you're into?
No, it depends what the character is, what the character requires. I mean, if I'm auditioning for Optimus Prime, I'm not going to go, you know, Autobots transform and roll out.
But I will say, like, when you first started...
So, for example, Rukia is not like a, you know, off-the-wall, non-human voice, for example.
No,
so,
but I mean, I can do those things. Sure. But I was going to say, like, when I first started... I think my range wasn't as wide as it is now. Like, I think as you go along, you learn different things that you can do. And maybe, Neil, when you first started acting, Optimus Prime wasn't in your range? I don't know. Or maybe it was. I don't know.
No, it was pretty much always there.
Okay, well, you're an anomaly.
Yeah, no, as a matter of fact, for me, one of the hardest things when I first started was, wait, you want to hear this voice? I mean, I would have a hard time with commercial copy because I would, you know, just, oh, he's a dad? All right, let me give you a dad voice. You know, as opposed to, and I had a lot of coaches
normally,
and going, no, just you play the part. Just play the part. You know, and there's room for everybody. There's room for people with the kind of versatility that Wally and I have, and then there's room for people like, I don't know, James Earl Jones, who has the vocal range of Y to Z. Okay?
Lorenzo Music.
Or even smaller.
Yeah.
You know, but I reference James Earl Jones a lot because he played two fathers, but you're never going to mistake a line from Mufasa for a line from Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
So
That's
it's
true.
like, it depends. The great thing about voiceover is, what do you bring to it? The hardest thing to learn is quit trying to be somebody else and be you. You know?
Yeah, because any character you're playing, you're bringing a part of yourself, your experience to. You have to connect to it somehow. So in order to do that, there has to be a part of you that connects to it.
I found it that early on, about 25 years ago when I started doing this, it was all about the character voices. Hey, Murphy Brown, how's it going? Hey, okay. Now it's like, no, just be your regular voice. So, today it's Kotetsu and Wild Tiger, which is basically my own voice. Renji is an amplification of my own voice, but with a little Jack Nicholson in there. I'm Renji Abari from the 13 Court Guard Squads here to kick your... how's your soul pressure? So it's a little Nicholson in there. So it's a hybridization of a lot of different things. It could be your own voice with a little Nicholson seasoned in, or it could be just Kotetsu, which is just me, or it could be the way I talk to my dog and cat, like John Arbuckle. Hey guys, you want to go outside for a walk? Which is how I talk to my pets. Or it could be some wacky, Cubot character voice where it's nothing like my own voice, Dr. Eggman. So it's fun, but as I get more advanced in this, it's more just like, no, just kind of use your own voice. So it's kind of fun, actually.
So I guess a last general question for that: when you found yourself thinking, well, maybe I should try voice acting, was it because you already enjoy doing impressions or different side voices?
I mean, I had an improv theater background, acting, improv theater. So for me, I got asked by a friend who worked at an ad agency to come and do some character voices for, do you remember Cabbage Patch Dolls? Yeah. I was doing scratch tracks for them for Cabbage Patch Dolls. And
not the Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah. And he was like, you're really good at this. You should maybe look into doing more. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds like fun. So that's that was kind of a push.
So you mentioned Cabbage Patch Dolls, and that reminds me of something that Wally and I worked on.
Tenderheart Bear. Yeah.
We were voices of Care Bears.
But the actual toys.
The toys themselves. So you were
Sunshine Bear.
I was Funshine Bear. Give me another Care Bear hug.
Hello, I'm Tenderheart Bear. Can I have a hug?
Yeah.
And who else was on that? Debbie Derryberry.
Was it Doug Earholtz? I feel like Doug Earholtz.
No, he was on the show.
Oh.
He was on the show.
Oh, okay. So you guys were the actual like
And,
Voice
plushies.
of the toys.
And He-Man. Who was the guy who voiced He-Man?
John Irwin.
John Irwin?
No, the original. I think.
John Irwin.
Nah, then I'm thinking of the wrong character. Arg. Anyway, speaking about where we came from, I was studying musical theater in New York. I was an occasional stand-up doing lots of impressions, and my uncle introduced me to a DJ on CBS FM. So I went in and did a lot of stuff for him, like, whenever you hear Bob Shannon on the radio, you're having a wonderful life, and like that. And
like
I just
the morning show stuff. Yeah, that's
it was
funny.
all that stuff. But then I went, wait a second, I don't have to memorize anything. And there are no hecklers. Oh, this is cool. And then I just kind of gave up on memorizing stuff. Thanks to digital. I don't remember anything. What was your question?
Well, I started.
Wait,
Speaking of radio, I started in radio as a radio DJ when I was about 16, and it's always great to come to Sacramento because I have a dear friend that I've known here since I was 16. He was you locals may know him as Dale Shornack on Channel 10 News or whatever. He's a great old friend of mine.
Him last
but
night.
we started in South Dakota in radio together, and Dale is about 4 years older than I am, so he was just on his way to go to college to study TV journalism. So that created an opening for me at the age of 16 to go on KABR 1420 AM in Aberdeen, South Dakota. So I basically took his place. And then I became a radio DJ. I would do a lot of character voices in my show. I would pre-record Darth Vader or Yoda or somebody, and I would and I would interview them on my show. But it was me just hitting a button and talking to myself, basically. And then I went to a bigger station in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. There was also a TV station, and who shows up? Dale Shornack, but he's on the TV side because he doesn't have a face for radio like me. He's got a face for TV, I've got a face for radio, so I stayed in radio. So we worked at that station together for many, many years. And every time I come to Sacramento, we have a great time seeing each other, and we had like a 5-hour dinner or something last night, just talking about the old days. It's great. So yeah, radio was really the starting point for that. And I remember hearing Charlton Heston. Do you know who that is? A famous old actor. He was on a late night interview at a station in Salt Lake City. And I said, well, I'd like to talk to Charlton Heston. So here is at 2 a.m. I'm dialing, in the old days, the phone, beep, trying to get in, hanging up, dialing again, smiling and dialing. And I finally get in to talk to Charlton Heston. And I said, I'm a radio DJ. I want to be an actor. Do you think that... He says, well, I think radio is a wonderful starting point for, the whole thing. I was like, oh, this is great. Thank you, Mr. Heston. So with that kind of encouragement, I eventually ended up moving to Los Angeles in '87. Very quickly, fell out of love with on-camera acting. Because I thought, this is really stupid.
Oh my God!
I don't want people
to
pulling my hair,
auditions.
spraying my hair, putting stuff all over my face.
Terrible.
And but a friend of mine said, well, I interned over the summer with Charles Stern Agency, who was my neighbor, and he had me come in also. I still know people over there, cut a tape. So I was working at a radio station in LA at the time, so it was easy to cut a tape in the production room. So I put all my characters on a tape and sent it in, and they signed me, and then I moved on to other things, moved on to other things. So and I never really looked back. Never looked back with an occasional on-camera thing that I might do for a friend or something.
Yeah.
But
you have to really love doing on-camera in LA to pursue that.
Yep.
I think you really gotta have a super big passion because it's
well, even at dinner last night, because Dale's so well known, people were coming up, oh, you're dead. I'm like, I'm a voice guy. Nobody knows
No one
who
knows
I
who
am,
I am.
and I can enjoy my steak in peace.
Incognito.
Does that ever trip you out when somebody does recognize you?
It only happens usually at conventions. Yeah.
I've had it. I've had it happen in a couple of airports, and it's
Yeah,
kinda like,
that
I'm just
happened
gonna
to me recently in the airport.
Okay. Oh, all right.
Because of DVD bonus materials, probably, or online
No,
stuff.
because I have almost 500,000 followers on TikTok.
Oh, wow. What is this TikTok you speak of?
Get down now.
Is it something I
you
can
just
get
have
on
to
my flip
press,
phone?
You have to keep pressing the buttons. You just have to keep pressing the buttons.
Press
By the way,
the
the
buttons.
actor I was trying to remember, Wally, was Cam Clark.
Oh.
Cam Clark. Oh, yeah, Cam, yeah.
Yeah, so it was an interesting range of voices that they brought in to be Care Bears. That was just such a...
Well, Cam's got an incredible range anyway. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was Leonardo.
No doubt.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Give a big round of applause to Neil Kaplan, Michelle Ruff, and Wally Wingert.